So, at Star Wars Celebration, Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy announced a new series of films centered around Rey and the New Jedi Order, taking place 15 years after the conclusion of The Rise of Skywalker. Certainly, if you're on the internet, you've heard the uproar from Expanded Universe fans at the use of the name The New Jedi Order. But why is that? In the EU, the New Jedi Order is sort of a blanket term that covers a pretty big chunk of time after the downfall of the Empire. In the EU, Luke eventually did start his own Jedi Order after years of training mostly on his own, because ironically, he was afraid of one of his students falling to the dark side or simply teaching them improperly, because he himself still didn't fully know what it meant to be a Jedi. This time period was incredibly well fleshed out with various games, books, and comics taking place after Episode 6. As I said before, Luke eventually did start a Jedi Academy on Yavin, which unfortunately was inhabited by the ancient Sith spirit of Exar Kun. He fought against the Imperial Remnant in Thrawn and thwarted a clone of the Emperor and trained a new generation of Jedi Knights. By far, the largest story in that time period was a series of 19 books known simply as the New Jedi Order. These books were written by 12 authors and detailed the war between the galaxy and the extragalactic invaders, the Yuuzhan Vong. The original three, Luke, Han, and Leia, featured heavily in the series alongside Mara Jade, Luke's wife, and unfortunately, Chewbacca dies rather early on in the series. It also featured the children of Han and Leia, and this is really where the series shines. Jaina and Jacen, the twins and firstborn of Han and Leia, slowly figure out what it means for them to be Jedi, with a great deal of attention on Jacen's journey, and Jaina nearly succumbing to the dark side after the death of her brother Anakin Solo. Speaking of which, Anakin Solo, the youngest child of Han and Leia, dutifully sacrificed himself for the greater good. And no brief summary of these 19 books could really do them justice. These books have gotten a second chance at life with the rise of the internet and YouTube. Because early on, when I was in a lot of these internet forums, the Yuuzhan Vong were actually kind of divisive among some EU fans. They were a pretty big departure from a lot of the previous tropes of the Star Wars universe, an extragalactic threat that were totally blind and borderline immune to the Force. They were also garish to look at, with gross, jagged features and strange customs, worshipping pain and viewing all technology as heresy. And as someone who grew up with these books, it's been great to see this series getting so much love, so long after these books debuted. Keep in mind, the last one, I believe, came out in 2003, so those books can almost legally drink. A staple of any EU reading list, and this is why so many fans groaned at the naming of these new films as the New Jedi Order. Do yourselves a favor and go read them. Play the Jedi Academy games. Read the comics. I mean, I'll still give these new movies a shot, but there's a pretty slim chance that I could ever live up to what came before it, because like I've said before, this is just what I grew up with, and it's kind of hard for me to accept things that are coming out. But as time goes on, I become a little less bitter, and I just kind of focus on, showing some new people the things that came before, and hopefully they can get into it and find some sort of solace in what came before. So if you're kind of new to the Expanded Universe fandom, hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight as to why so many people were upset at naming this new generation the New Jedi Order. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Love you, appreciate you.